Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast, where we are sharing a bunch of resources, homeschool families, support, love, care, just to remind you that this is not a journey you have to take on your own. So today we have C with Infinite Directions, and she's going to introduce herself and share what she has created because I'm just blown away by. But go ahead and introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hello, I am Chauncia Jones, owner and creator of Infinite Direction, and what I provide to the youth and the community who serves youth, which is business owners, the decision makers, and even homeschooling parents, is a career curriculum. So I have now been affectionately calling it a workforce education curriculum because what I realized is over time and speaking with different people is that it bridges the gap between the graduation age youth, which is your 17, 18, into that first job type of foundation, getting the understanding of what is a W-2 form or all of that I put that inside of a curriculum, and it kind of it gives it a foundation to kind of prepare the youth mindset for the workforce. So that's why I call it a workforce education curriculum.
Yes.
It's called the Infinite Dreamers Program.
Infinite Dreamers Program. I love the name. Yes, because there are no
Mhm.
limits to this. It continually goes wherever you want it to go. I love that. Infinite
Thank
Dreamers.
you.
Yes, I have had a chance, I will say the privilege to view your program. And I told you I was just blown away by what it offers. Being a former 12th grade English teacher, I talked to my students and they were scared. They were scared of what was to come after, those first 18 years. And it's like, people expect them to go and just be adults. And it's like they're not even ready for it.
Mm, yeah.
Yes. So,
I,
of course, big mindset. And then, like you said about the W-2 forms, like a lot of them have no idea what that even is. Because some of them haven't even held a job yet. And
mhm.
so that is your program is very much needed. It is. I love it. I love it. And I appreciate you creating something of that magnitude. Because I feel like it covers the scape of financial literacy also, not just the career readiness, but it also gives you an oversight of what you should be thinking about when entering into a career.
It does. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. So how did we get here? Like, how did you get in that direction? What made you create that?
Okay. So how much time we got? Start with just talking a little bit about myself. I was a teen mom. Okay, and I come from a family of women who worked. College was not talked about in my household, but nonetheless, it went. I was not introduced to the topic of college until high school. Now, I don't know where everybody, the scope of your audience, but I lived in PG County here in Maryland. Okay, and that's a predominantly, community of color.
Mm,
And I was 15 when I left that community and went to a more suburban community where I went to a mixed, what do you call it? A melting pot of high school where different cultures. And, of course, we always say within our community, there's a community within a community. And you
yeah.
have a lot of little, sub communities, I should say. And this was a more suburban area. So they were talking about things like college. They were talking about going to the military. They were talking about life after high school.
Mm,
But the only thing I've been taught was you need to work. And I
mm,
had a child to care for. And so they had no idea that I was going to go to college until my 12th grade year because I had not planned for it. It was just me talking to my peers. And so I did the college thing. I didn't stay, but I was exposed to it.
Yeah.
But after that, now I want to bring it up to the creation of my business, because I started my business in 2020, basically servicing women doing resume writing, just talking about what they wanted to do to kind of change, their circumstances. And so out of that birth Infinite Direction. Then COVID
Mm.
hit, everybody in the world was touched by that. And so just speaking with a business mentor of mine, we were talking about how to kind of keep my business alive, what to do, areas of focus. And so because of COVID, the whole world shut down. And her and I had been kind of talking about a youth program, kind of like an internship, trying to connect youth with business owners. But because of COVID, it didn't kind of work out that way. It left me in a position to kind of pivot pretty much. Like, what am I going to do with this business? And I just put everything in the workbook, everything that I have experienced throughout my life, everything that I have learned in the workforce by pretty much personal experience. I put it into this workbook. And because doors were closed to nonprofits, I don't know if I can say names, but the ones that service the community, the youth, like your homeless population at risk youth, which I really don't like that term.
Mhm.
But that's what's used. I just put everything in the workbook. Like I said, I'm a mom. I have teenagers. All of my experiences, I put it in the workbook. I
Yeah.
put it in front of my 22-year-old. He was like, I kind of knew all this information. I was like, okay. I put it in front of my 16-year-old, and he was like, oh, this is good. I didn't know this. I didn't know. Okay. There you So, that's where I discovered, okay, that's the target, that's
Yeah.
the market, that's the age group that I want to focus on. I know
Okay.
that was a
So
lot, but
that wasn't so teens and up, basically.
yes.
Because surprisingly or not, there's people in their 30s and 40s that don't know some of the information that you have in your workbook.
Yeah.
Can you cover, because you in that workbook, you cover like a wide spectrum of topics. Like you even go so
Hmm.
deep into, horoscope, like as far as your sign goes. And um, it's been a few, but yes, can you cover some of the topics that you cover?
Absolutely. Okay, so chapter 1 is my favorite chapter because it's talking about making a decision, right? And it's basically taking inventory of where you are in your life. Because when you're young, I talked about the mindset starting off. When you're young, you don't really realize the decisions that you're making, especially at that age. You're that 16, 17, you're at that rites of passage age where that one choice that you make can change the rest of your life, right? And so that's why for me, it's one of the most important chapters. In that chapter of the workbook, I'll talk about, I have an assessment kind of to help you gauge what's going on. Part of that is, okay, are you dibbling in the, drugs, alcohol? Are you finding yourself getting in trouble with the law? Do you have a goal? Do you want to go to college? These are all assessment questions to kind of get you to start thinking about where you currently are. So introducing the horoscope thing and the life path, that is a little ebook that I put out because wasn't until a personal experience of mine that I did not realize how much I was in alignment with what my life path number is in
Yes.
very key areas of my birth chart that I didn't know. That I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing that right now.
Yes.
So my personal opinion is that we are giving tools, we're given signs and synchronicities of our life, kind of like a little um, opening, so to speak, of our lives. We're given that it's like a kind of like a roadmap already. And if you're not in tune to it, if you're not paying attention to it, you are missing some key signs because you are feeling that those signs with things that are not beneficial to you, the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, you hanging out, you don't really you have a lack of direction when you can really start getting to know who you are and where your path is aligning you, so to speak. In chapter 1, I also talk about managing your time wisely. There's one thing that I do call, and my mentor and I talk about, it's called the spiritual piggy bank, where with the actions and stuff that you're taking in this very moment, it's kind of like you putting it into your good karma piggy bank, where all of your energy and focus that you spend right now is going to pay you off later on, as long as it's in a positive direction. So all of that said, that's what making a decision is all about. Starting to really get serious, training your mindset to get serious, to focus on your potential. What are you capable of? What does your heart desire? Get in tune with that. Start getting it in tune with who you are, and you're going to see the signs have always been there.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, no, that's really big and deep, because people don't I think people underestimate just the power of the mindset in general. I spoke to a 52, I want to say he's 52-year-old man. He never talked positive to himself. He didn't know what affirmations were. He just to hear how he talked, and that's what how our conversation went, just because of me listening to him talk about himself. And I'm just like, well, why would you say that about yourself? It all starts in your mind. And people don't talk kind to themselves all the time. That's not a normal thing. Like that, like as much as it should be, I feel like, we have grown up in a society that doesn't encourage people to see the greatness in themselves on a regular basis.
And it
And
shows up how they treat other people.
yes, ma'am. Hurt people hurt people. I say that all the
Mhm.
time. And a lot of people walk around with that hurt, not even acknowledging the hurt. So it
Yes.
really, really is damaging. But mindset is everything. And so doing a survey and thinking about where you are right now and where you want to go is so important, because a lot of kids don't sit and do goal setting. They don't sit and think about that far in the future. Like you said, you were in PG County at first, and they didn't talk past high school. They weren't talking about, life after, besides, oh, I know I got to work, I got to get some money. But they didn't think about just how limitless their future could be. And that's a sad thing. Like, that is so sad.
It is. Let me go back. I want to talk about something that you just said. You said they didn't think about anything because outside of I need to work or I need to get money, right? And when I talk about that assessment of where you are and how important that is, it allows you the power of choice. Okay.
Yes.
Because if anything that comes up that is not in alignment with what you want for yourself, your answer is automatically going to be no. So when you come back, when you had coming back to that, what you saying about getting money and choices, I want to insert the choices here because it's all different ways of getting money. Now,
Indeed.
the power of choice is, okay, is this going to land me in jail? Is this going to put me in a position where I'm serving drugs and alcohol to my community? See, when you understand where you are,
Yes.
it gives you the power of choice in your decision making. That's the reason why I named that chapter Making a Decision, because it's so powerful. People don't really understand when you have a goal and a vision for yourself. If anything that comes up that's going to interfere with it, you're going to know how to identify it and say, okay, no, that's not for me. Oh, yes, or yes, absolutely. We got to
Yes.
give the power back to ourselves. We
Yes,
don't have to just
ma'am.
go along to get along and, you know what I'm saying? Do what other people want us to do. Career choice as well. You might have people who get into career choices because their mom was a doctor and they want to continue that. But if that's not what it was in your heart, maybe at heart you like to draw, but you don't. You're
Mm.
told, oh, there's no future in that. All of those, that's the power of the mind. Like you have to be so
Yeah.
strong in yourself to say either yes or no.
Yes, because it goes back to you. It does. People give away their choices all the time. They feel so railroaded or feeling like, other people's opinion is shaping what they really want to do. You know how many people are working jobs that they cannot stand? And I'm just like, why are you there? They're, first of all, everybody hiring, like everybody. So like I don't understand staying in a position where you're going to be unhappy day after day and not look forward to waking up.
Yeah.
It's sad that we've gotten to that place, and it hasn't. I mean, that's not something new, like, and that could come from the generations before us saying what they did or how hard they had to work, or things of that nature, where it puts into your head that no matter what, I need to get a job and I need to make money because that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. I don't have you ever watched Ali Sadiq? You know
Yes,
him?
his stuff. Yeah. Some of his stuff.
Um,
But the dude from
he
Houston, right?
I was gonna say I don't
I
know
think
where
so.
he's from, but
Yeah.
he's a comedian and he
Yeah.
did
Uh-huh.
a great special called Domino Effect, and it's on YouTube.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'd be doing road trips, so I'd be listening to stuff. And I listened to his I want to say it was the second one because he did two parts, but he talks about the power and impression that his mom saying, when you turn 18, you got to get out of here. Like, and he talked about how that led him down a path of, shucks, when I turn 18, I got to get out of here. What is that going to look like? He's 14, 15, trying to think about 18. And that led him to selling drugs. Not saying that that's, everybody's thing or whatever, but he also had other influences from neighborhoods, from his other parental, like he talked about his dad's influence on his decision in
Mhm.
that. But just hearing and seeing how he's, all I know is when I turn 18, I got to get out of here. And parents
Right.
don't be understanding that pressure, especially when your child's not ready for it. And so when they're thinking of, wait, I got about 2 years until that happens, or I got 2 months until that happens, your mind gets into a survival mode, like a
Mhm.
quick fix. And so going back to understanding alignment, going back to understanding choices, you got to choose to say, hey mom, hey dad, I need to chill here for a little bit longer. I'm not ready. I need help with this, or I need to understand that. Like, it has to go back to that choice of saying, well, hey guys, like, despite what you feel that they're gonna be looking at or saying, because parents, I don't feel like all of them really mean it. Some of them may.
No, I don't think they do. It's just the fact that they eat up all your food, and then sometimes they just so sneaky.
Tall, someone walking around taller than you, beards and mustaches. And so I get it. Like,
Bring your mess, and you be frustrated because I can know, 'cause I know, because I speak from a mom's point of view.
yes.
My son, I'll reference him. He's 16 years old. Now, this is an important topic because it goes right into what we're talking about is because, he's at that place and maybe, since we talk about it, he's not really doing really great in school,
Mhm.
right? And so because I work, okay, different side of what you're doing, because I do work, public school is the option for him because of
Mhm.
my responsibilities. I don't hate my job or dislike my job. My job is right in alignment with my purpose.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice, I probably would homeschool
Yes. But
because
you do still have the choice, right?
I do still have the
Because they
choice.
had the virtual school. If you didn't feel comfortable with him just being home and you being in charge of, what all he does, there's virtual school. There's a lot of different programs that you could put him on. As far as learning and just learning and understanding where it is he wants to go and gearing things towards that. So don't take away from that. Don't take the choice away from yourself. You do have the
Well,
choice.
you know what? It will require education on my part because I would be the first to
Yeah.
say I don't know.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of community, because what I don't know, somebody else
Yes,
Yes.
and you gonna learn some things at the expo. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
I'm
that you gonna.
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited you gonna
Excited.
be there.
And you
Yes.
know what? I did, I told him I wanted him to come with me.
Okay.
I told him I wanted him to come with me because I need his help. But one of the things I have been experiencing with him is he's not really there.
Mm,
He's not really there. He wants to do enough to graduate because he know that is a requirement in my household. Get your, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I was taught,
yeah.
and so those patterns that we still do carry with us because I want him to be able to say he was successful at something.
Hmm.
And that goes back to the mindset and confidence. I've had experiences with people who didn't graduate, and the feeling of overwhelmed, that overwhelming feeling of feeling like they can't do anything or can't
Yeah.
accomplish anything. And it's not just them themselves, because that is regurgitated by society.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They give you statistics all day long. Oh, well, graduates or people who didn't graduate, they make this less money, than
Yes.
everybody else. And not to make it right or wrong, it is. So it's a very deep topic. It's a very
It is, but you're gonna learn some stuff. So I'm not even worried
right.
about it. You're gonna learn some stuff, and that's in alignment with what we're talking about and where you're going with things because
Okay.
you see an issue. Your son is expressing the issue, and so now we have to work on the solution. And
And
I
getting connected to a community of youth his age who know the other side and can help
yeah.
him out mindset wise.
Indeed, indeed. We gonna find it and we're gonna work it out. So I'm excited about that.
Cool.
Um, but I from the experience from because I taught 10, 12, I taught middle school kids, they do lose their light along the way. It is a lot. It's a lot that goes on in that school building that parents aren't aware of. The
Mm,
conversation, the peer pressure, just the
yes.
judgment, the critique, and not even just from their peers, but from the adults that are surrounding them also. Adults are mean. Adults are mean. And teachers hold grudges. I will say
I
that.
tell him that too.
Yeah. And so it's a lot. And I just feel like if it's not servicing them for their better, because it has such a long lasting like impression. Like it does dictate a lot going into their future. We gotta recapture their light. We gotta, pull back and figure it out. So it's okay.
That's
Give them
sad to hear,
grace.
you know.
Yeah, 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 it is. I remember my nephew. Look, speaking personal, not even talking about my students, but girl, I remember my nephew had me writing a letter to his school, and he was going to school in Florida. I was in Virginia, but he had taken a baseball, like the baseball coach was his teacher for something. And
Mhm.
girl, he disrespected this man in this class. And don't you know, he tried to try out for baseball and the man cut him. And mind you, he had been playing baseball since he was like 4. So we all knew that. We just knew he was going to make the team. Honey, that man cut him, girl. I was so quick on that computer, so sad. Like, yo, hey, let that mess go. Y'all need to talk now, whatever. Like, like just real high. Wanted to talk to principals and everything. But
Right.
people got to understand, especially kids, young adults, these are people with feelings. Like these teachers
Yeah.
are people with feelings. And so when they get hurt, especially if they don't know how to deal with them themselves, which a lot of them don't, they gonna let that follow them. They're gonna talk about it, they're gonna hold on to it because that's their impression of you. Not saying it's right, because it's definitely not right, but it's a lot. That lovely system is a lot. So yeah, but we ain't gonna go that far down.
Ain't that lovely, sister?
Yes,
That's
but
true.
yeah, it's a lot. But back to all that you have created and all that it allows for young adults to think about. I love the assessment. I love the fact, but there was something that really stood out to me. You, as far as job employment goes, you
Mhm.
touched on the basis of what does this company offer you? Like, what does what
Yes.
you know?
So in the workbook, and I don't actually have a printed copy here, but the Infinite Dreamers workbook, I take you through so many other chapters. I have one for resume writing. I even recently did one for using AI to help you write your resume. What else is it? It's cultural identity in the workplace, and so many different chapters and stuff in that book. But just to touch on what you just mentioned, it's very important for us to realize that we are the asset. We
Yes.
are the asset. And it becomes like psychology a little bit when you get into these interviews, and you're in the interviewing process and they're talking about everyone. We're looking for someone that this, but
I'm
I
looking for.
exactly. I have a worksheet in the book that it's an employer checklist. And so what it does, or what it's supposed to help you do, is as the asset, you get to choose your employer based on your needs. So this checklist has everything like from FMLA to 401k, IRA, just a list of benefits, educational assistance that you need based on the way that your life is set up.
Yes.
So if you have children, benefits will definitely be important to you. So that means, and you're going to use this as a guide for when you're looking for your employers. So it gives you as the asset and the employee the power to select who you would want to work for, who you want to contract with. I want to step away from that word employee, even though that's the reality of it, but it's who you want to contract with, who you want
Mm,
to contract your services to.
yes. I love that.
It's the
That is.
power back in your hands, because you can go into an interview and they can say, and you ask them, what about your benefits? And they don't have educational assistance, and you know that one of your plans is to get your master's degree, and you need an employer that's going to help you do that. That might not be a position that you want to take. It gives you
Yeah.
the power of choice again.
Yes, negotiate because a
Mhm.
lot of us going into the work field, especially young ones, they don't understand the power that they hold with going in, like helping this company work, like function, and all these help wanted signs I'm seeing on these doors. You are needed, okay? It's not
I
the
was
other
about to
way
say,
around.
you don't have to choose out of desperation.
Yes,
Now, don't get me wrong. If you need it, but walk in knowing that, okay, this is my plan. I need this right now because I got to take care of this, that, and the third. Walk in the door knowing that, but that does not take away from the fact that you are the asset. These companies will not make it without your energy and your time. You are
yes.
the one that gives it power.
Your value, yes, all the way down to the barista, that's what they call that
Absolutely.
Starbucks. Like you saying hello and greeting the customer, like a lot of them come back for that hello and that greeting from you in particular. And so people definitely got to understand how important their energy is. And that goes back to the self-talk and the affirmation and the mindset, understanding their worth and talking to themselves in that way, like, hey, yo, yeah, no, you need me. Like, you need
That
me. I
brings
need this
your
check, however,
signature.
you need me.
That brings your signature to mind because it says, thank you for your time and your energies.
Yes.
Is you that gives it life.
Yes, ma'am. And like energy is important. Like you can go in there and
Mhm.
light up a whole room, change the whole atmosphere of a restaurant, change the whole atmosphere of a storefront. Like,
Mhm.
you got to understand how powerful you are. And that's the youth and the old. Like
Yes.
yes,
It
it's
does
a
not have an age limit on
no,
it. It does.
ma'am. No, ma'am. You are the power. And that's really important to understand. But that goes back to why I love your workbook. Um, I do. I really do. Like I was so blown away when you were showing it to me. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is really neat. I told you that they need to put that type of material curriculum in a school, in public
Yeah.
schools, because these kids are being graduated with just less of what they need, a lot less than what they need. And then parents, I feel like it would definitely be beneficial in a homeschool world because of all of the topics that the parents will get to touch on. It's like, oh, shucks, we didn't get to talk about this. Let us talk about this more. Like you go over this chapter and on here through the program, but however, let us sit and discuss this more as a family. So I can help you outline some of these goals. I can help you talk about what it is that you're looking for. And understand like your interests and desires, like, because I've been watching you since you were a newborn, and I know like what has always lit up your eyes or what has drove you in different directions, and we could sit and talk about it, because a lot of kids do just go and pick the first occupation or first thing based off of a list. Like,
Mhm.
I tell people like, growing up, especially in the 90s, teacher, doctor, lawyer,
Oh my goodness, yes.
accountant,
Let's
like,
talk about that for a minute. I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish,
oh
but
yeah, no, go ahead. I'm just saying the limiting, like, our limitations basically placed on our mindset of what it is that we could be when we grew up, basically.
yeah, because listen, let me tell you something. It is so many ways to make money out here, but we don't know because of that list, because of that box. Okay, you
Yeah.
gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta go to school, and none of it is true. You just gotta get out there. Let me talk about that first job. You just have to get out there and do and be. Um, that one job, you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know who you're gonna come across. Opportunities come through people. Get out
Yes.
there and expose yourself to
Network.
different people, network. Who would have told it? Did you know in you're probably around my age in 2000 that the internet, no job, I mean, no degree, none of that would be the source of your income? No, we weren't told that back then. We was told you got to be one of these degreed
Yes.
occupations, like you said,
Yes.
doctor, lawyer. But he said you could just log on to the internet and make a six-figure income. Nobody told us that. You would have thought that in a million years. But
Not
now
at all.
that guideline given to our kids, now when they seeing people making TikToks and they making money off of TikTok. So now all of our kids want to do the internet thing.
Yeah,
So I think
what
we
do they?
education system need to catch up to reality. It's so sorry.
Yes. I will say the library that we were in yesterday had a maker's room. Are you familiar with that?
No, I've never heard that.
They'll have a green screen and allow you to be able to set up and record in the library, like in like a studio basically. And I thought that was so dope. Like, oh my gosh, like you talk about like encouraging, because people pay for those type of services. Like your
Just sitting in
library.
my mind, that's a whole brick and mortar. We just had people come in and book space, and child,
You can go to your local library.
bigger income. You don't need no degree for that.
No, and there's so many, and we talk about some of the richest people in the world. They ain't go to nobody's college, and if they did, they dropped out. Like,
All
so
you need is your
it
mind.
is a mindset of, or just a societal norm that's been set that, oh, you got to go to college to be successful. And I feel like this younger generation is definitely debunking that theory all the time, all the time. And
Mhm.
I love it. I love it for everyone. The countless opportunities that there are to just live out your passion and not necessarily have to even enter into anybody's workforce, as far as going
Mhm.
to help someone establish their company when you can build your own.
Build your own.
You
Yeah, and I
know?
think us as parents is, and because I'm only saying this because I've caught myself doing it, is not being critical of our children's ideas, because we
Mm,
have to understand we're coming from a different generation. They're seeing things totally different from a totally new perspective, and allow for them to foster those ideas. They may not make
yes,
no sense,
girl.
but give them that, allow them to have that,
Yes,
because you just
ma'am.
never know what could be birthed out of that.
Yes, ma'am. I got a 6 and a 9-year-old, so the stuff that they say be like, whoa. But I look, my reply back be like, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, because I don't really know what else to say, but it's like,
Right.
if you want to have a zoo in your house, that's fine. Like, hey, let me know how that works out. Like,
But you
but they
never
also
know.
say, you really don't. They also say things
Mhm.
like they want to open their own school. They also tell me stuff like, Kenny wants to create her own video game. Like, like it's not that outlandish, but some things be like, wait a minute now. I don't
Well,
know
if
how you're
it's a
gonna do that.
thought, it
But
can
I
be
never
done.
shut it
You don't got to
down.
know how.
Girl, I never shut it down. I'm big on no limits. We definitely practice
Mhm.
that all the way. I got my 6-year-old thinking we can go to the moon if we had the right gear. So
That's
like we just
right.
need
I like that.
it's like, so we just need a spaceship. Sure, honey. Sure thing. Like,
That's right.
like, but there's no limits, and we do place a lot of limits. I just made a post about that. Parents or adults in general, because it don't even necessarily be the parents all the time. It'd be like random adults shooting down kids'
Mhm.
dreams, telling them what
Mhm.
they can and cannot do based off their fears. And that is so not right. That is so
Yeah.
not right. Because you didn't achieve it don't mean that they can, don't mean that you shouldn't
Right.
believe in them or even encourage them. And so that is something that we definitely got to break from. I don't like seeing that. I don't like hearing that, because anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Like I said, I've caught myself doing it. And you know what?
Yes.
It's that feeling that you get. You're like, dang, I shouldn't say that. Because
Yeah.
you know better. Just because I couldn't or I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
don't mean that they can't. They won't.
Yeah. Because
So
I
allow them
okay.
that
Okay.
space.
Like I okay. Look, say that and then like I got a bunch of like little some of my generic responses to some of the things they say, but I just always make sure it's encouraging to go further with that idea. Like you said, the
Mhm.
idea is that's where everything started. Like these laptops, the microphone that we talking on, everything started as an idea. Like everything,
Mhm.
the roads, the
Yeah.
everything. And so don't shoot them down. Like created, like we had a what's some beds that pull out from the sofa. What's it called? Sofa bed? I
A
don't know.
futon.
Nah, the ones that go beneath the cushion.
Oh
Like,
yeah, sofa couch or is that it?
sofa couch.
Child, that's a 1989.
But yes,
I
but
get dating
somebody thought of
myself.
that. It was like, hey, you need a couch and a bed. Let's go ahead and
Sofa
create
bed. Yeah.
sofa bed.
I'm dating myself. Let me go home.
But it's just the things that there are no limits to our thoughts, and somebody gonna use it. People would have thought like, oh, I need this sofa couch for look, this sofa couch. I just said it to you. For, but it's like it's just amazing our creativity, the limitless creativity that we possess, and are able to act on when there are no limits placed.
Yeah.
um it's really dope. It's really dope. I just talked with a friend the other day, and their son just got into this program
Oh,
where
okay.
he's what is he doing? He's gonna be creating like small parts for different things, like intricate parts that are needed. But I knew him and he's just graduated this year, but he rebuilt laptops. Like he did different
Ah,
things. Like he's like, mind that way. Like he could create things of that nature. But they say he just be up in that room beating on stuff. But they allowed it. Like he bought some
mhm.
kind of big old like machine, something that he was going to try to work out. And that's what led him to actually getting where he's at now, in a fully furnished apartment, a stipend for his food, a way to and from his program that he's in,
That's on his
and a
mind.
$40 an hour salary when he comes out of this program. So it's just like, y'all let that happen though, because y'all never turn like, boy, no, you can't buy that. Beating that stuff in my house. Like they didn't do that. And so I had to like let them know, like, y'all are responsible for that too. Like that's
For his
awesome,
greatness.
because you let him be. Like that's
Mhm.
yes, girl. I love that. But yeah.
Just for his mind. He get all of that just for his mind. You don't
Yeah.
have to compromise yourself in any type of way. All you got to do is be you
Yes, and follow your passions. Follow what moves you. Follow what ignites that fire in you that makes you be like, yeah, no, I can do this. I can do this. And just
Mhm.
follow what doesn't feel like work. It feels like, hey, this is something I like doing. You know,
He
that's
said, "Well,
really
it
big.
doesn't feel like work,
Yeah,
child."
girl, big thing. I be telling people all the time, I ain't got no job. Like, don't be trying to make this a job for me. This is not a job. Okay. Like, this is
Do
like, this
this
is what I want. Yes,
for
no, I'm not.
free.
Yes, yes, yes. Big time, big time. This is dope. This is inspiring. I love talking to people. I love pouring into people. Like the encouragement is needed. I wish that I
Mm.
had it when I was starting off on certain things, or just especially your program with girl, like we just pushed head first out here into this world. Like it's just
But we had to, and I think that it's that's lays the foundation for the youth that we have now that is able to think outside the box. They don't need a degree. You know what I think it was
Mhm.
us that had to go out there and get beat up in the workforce and be like, this is not for me.
Yeah,
Because, like even for me, have a long-term plan, and workforce is not part of my long-term plan, but it's part
yeah.
of what helps me get to where I want to
To
be.
you where you're going.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. We got to
So, I
make
mean, so I
those.
think, yeah, it's us that laid the foundation for that. So we have to give ourselves kudos. We went out
Oh,
there and got beat up.
definitely. Definitely. Because we are the bucking generation too.
Mhm.
Because I feel like our parents, that's a generation that where everyone didn't have access to college. So that generation at 60, them, I guess them baby boomers,
Mhm.
that's a generation that preached college to especially melanated folks. Oh no, you going to college. Oh, you got to go to
Mhm.
college. Oh, you got to go to college. Like that was a heavy thing. Like they didn't think outside of college. That it was like I didn't get to go to college, or I didn't graduate college, like things of that nature. So they wanted to see their youth do it. And
Mhm.
so we who went to college, some finishing, some not, but either way, going on that journey, creating that debt, like,
I was just about
getting
to say
that.
that word.
We like, nah,
Yes,
yeah,
you hit that
nah.
word right on the head. Yeah.
You don't have to, you ain't got to go to college.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go to college. What you want to
Do
do? Like,
that.
just tell me what you want to do. Let's work towards that. Cause I'm not going to push college on it. And I don't push it on my kids at all. We talk about it. We visited different universities already. And like I said, they're 6 and 9, but that's up to them. That's not oh,
Yeah.
you got to do this. Like you gotta, like I would hope that they wouldn't have to work for anybody, or like I'm trying to make that and pave that for them. Definitely reimagining what that looks like for them. But yeah, college doesn't have to be that pathway to success as people feel it, because most of the times we don't even use those degrees. I have a whole master's, honey,
I
and
was just about to say that too. My because I went back online. I got my bachelor's in human services management and
mm,
I'm in technology. I that does not equate. Does
it
not.
doesn't. It doesn't. We're
So
just
yeah,
getting papers for
it
just
did
to get
not
them.
guarantee my success. Yeah.
No, it does not. It does not. And I know I've mentioned it before, but the Kanye skit on not College Dropout, but his graduation album, and he's talking about yeah, my dad passed away, and all he left me was his degrees. Like, like, and now I have to use them. Like he basically has a blanket outside because he's homeless, because he didn't have nothing. There was nothing to pass down. Like, but just like it was funny on the phone, but it's
But
not
that.
that. But it's like,
Mhm.
yeah. It's serious. Yeah, that is what we pass down a lot of the times,
Yeah.
from thinking that we got to go after that. I guess it's termed American dream. I
Yeah.
guess that's a part
Mhm.
of it. But yeah, no, that doesn't suffice for everyone, and all our dreams should look different. It shouldn't be no one
I like
dream.
that.
So yeah, no, infinite dreams. I
Infinite
like that.
possibilities. Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, no, it's big. What are some things that you would suggest, or something you would share with parents who have teenagers or young adults that are still trying to figure their way?
Start the conversation, and that's it. easy said than done. Shut down. Their source of information becomes their peers. But I would also like to add, get to know their peers as well.
Mm.
Because get to have those conversations with them. And then so you'll start to notice that the conversations between the peers change.
Mm.
You know, I can't explain just the impact of me going out one day and I saw the friends that my son was hanging around, and it was a whole bunch of trash that was around.
Mm.
I said, "Hey, get up there, clean this up, get this." And I was talking to my son, but all of them got to work and start picking up that trash
Nice.
because they need us to say
Yeah.
something. Say
Yeah.
something. Don't write them off and be like, oh, they ain't nothing but hoodlums and this, that. And I know that there can be a disconnect, but all we have to do is don't be afraid to talk to them. You'll
Talk to
come to
them.
know that they want us to talk to them.
They
They want
do.
us to talk to them.
They
It can
do.
be difficult. Trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
People get loud. But I got teenagers. My oldest is 23, but they want us to talk to them.
Yes.
So just open up the lines of communication. If I can't stress anything enough, at least the workbook opens up the lines of communication. Just talk
Yes,
about it. It
ma'am.
can be something simple as talking about this. Sometimes they don't want to talk about them. They want to talk about their friends and what their friends are going through. Let them talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say something like, oh, well, if I, or when, you know what I'm saying? Well, maybe somebody said something to me and I want to give her credit. We call her brown sugar mama, but I want to say something that she said to me a long time ago when she was talking about me raising my children. She said, speak life into them.
Mm.
It's so easy to talk about what they do wrong, but she said when you talk to them, do it like this. Oh, I noticed that you did this, and I think that was an awesome idea. Think
Yes.
that you should, well, what do you think? And have them start talking about what they're thinking, what they're feeling. They want us to do that. So if there's
Yeah.
anything that I can say, let's talk to them.
Yes.
Might be hard, but just do it. Talk to them. If talk to
Yeah.
their friends, talk to
Mm-hmm.
them. One thing, somebody asked me before about when did I first get the idea to really focus on kids and in the workbook and mentorship with the children. I said, but August is 23. When you
Mm-hmm.
have kids, you naturally become concerned about where they're going, who they're with, and their kids, their friends, excuse me, come over, you know, and then you like, oh, well, where y'all going?
Yes.
Oh, who they mother? Say mother number. I got this. Open up those lines of communication. And that's one thing. And I'll say this one last thing, but it has something, it's very important.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
I went to a meeting with the school system. It was something, it was an incident that happened, and I had to go sit in this meeting. And what I realized is that the parents don't talk to each other.
Mhm.
Make those connections. Talk to your kid, just get that community thing. We go home, we close our door, we kick our feet off, we turn on the TV. The community part goes out the window until something bad happens. Why is that? When we can just go outside and just say hello, and I'll be the one to throw myself under the bus. Sometimes, like I said, it go, you know what I'm saying, in the back of your mind. But just it's so simple. It's very simple. Just talk to them.
Talking to your kids. Like, they know. Like, you've been listening to the podcast enough, you know, I don't say it plenty of times. Talk to those kids. I had 12th graders telling me that I talked to them more. They talked to me more than they talked to their parents. And I just thought that was the most baffling thing I had heard because we didn't even have that much time together. And they were in a classroom full of other kids. So it's like, wait, how does that even work? How are you talking to me more than you talk to your parents that are at home with you? I don't like that. I don't like that. And that's how a lot of the foundation of Homeschool Your Kids even got started. But in the
That's
notion,
right.
you
It's
said
a level of
afraid.
fear. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a parent. I have a sometimes it's some conversations that just bring up an anxiety feeling because you're
Mm,
afraid of what they're gonna say.
yeah.
You're afraid of maybe they did try drugs, maybe they did try
Mm,
sex. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they did. And then it just opens up a door, but it's a door that needs to be open.
yes,
Otherwise,
ma'am.
we're back at making a decision, like, taking that inventory of what's going on. You might not have that parent to help you.
Yes, ma'am. No, you're right. You're right. And that's you. Parents have to understand the difference between fear and respect. And
Mm, that's a
knowing
big
that you want your kids to respect you and respect you enough to value your opinion about certain things. And so that fear is that disconnect. That fear is that wall. That fear is what's
yeah,
going to stop y'all from, building that relationship. Um, so that's really important to foster that respect between you, respect them so that and show them what that looks like. And the respect will follow, it'll be reciprocated. Um, that's a big thing. But talking to your
mhm,
kids, girl, I'm so glad you decided to focus in on that one because that's big. That's
it's the
big.
truth.
Yep. And how we started saying and talking about these kids go through a lot throughout the days, a lot of emotions. They see a lot, they experience a lot, um, and no one necessarily talks them through it. Talk to them, find out how they're feeling, find how certain things affected them, their feelings about subjects that yeah, they them subjects do get a little tricky. Believe me, I don't have some crazy subject topics with my 6 and 9 year olds. So for us to be talking about what the white things that come out of males' penises are and stuff at
Oh,
6 and 9,
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
because kids at the park want to talk about this type of stuff. Like, understand if I'm having these conversations at 6 and 9, you can jump into those conversations with 16, 17 year olds. Like, hey, it has to be
And
talked about,
the internet now is,
girl.
I mean, leave nothing to the imagination. But I
Nothing. There
wanna
is
say
none.
something here because I said this before when I was talking to, because my daughter, she's getting ready to go to high school now. And, I said before, not only do we need to talk about the drugs and the sex, but we need to talk about people or the youth losing their friends.
Mm,
We don't have those conversations.
yeah.
We don't have those conversations, and now that is a reality. I know where I am, the
Mm,
the fentanyl epidemic has hit our community.
mm,
We're not talking to our children about that. Edibles is hitting our community. This is stuff that is, and I don't, open up a can of worms, but medical grade marijuana, this stuff is in our schools. It's being
yes,
passed
ma'am.
around to our kids. Public school,
Yes,
public
ma'am.
school, so we need to start talking to our kids about that's why the conversation is so important.
Yes, ma'am. That's what these kids want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be valued as any person, as any human does. And we discredit them because of, oh, you ain't lived, oh, you ain't did this. Or
Mhm.
I talk about the term real world. Oh, when you get in the real world, this and this, and
They
it's just like,
already
well,
here.
what world are they living in right now? Like, what like because these experiences do happen. There are kids that are losing kids, like their friends.
Yes.
There's a
High
lot
school is
going on.
significant. Yes,
There's a lot going on. We
yes.
can't ignore that. We cannot
Mhm.
ignore that. We have to talk to these young ones because their their emotions are not being met. Like, they're not learning how to express, and that's how we get these young adults or adults, older adults, whatever, snapping, crashing out, like, just doing things because they weren't taught how to resolve conflict. They weren't never taught, those certain skills, life skills of handling things that don't really go along with what you want or how it is, and being able to process and think past that. Reflection is everything, and we don't allow our kids to sit and feel enough and understand their feelings are necessary. Like, it's okay to feel those emotions. It's like, what are you going to do with that feeling now? Like the after.
The emotional intelligence, how
Emotional
to deal with
intelligence.
rejection, how to deal with disappointment and not lash out. And yeah, it's a big thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm very happy
Oh,
that you decided to share that, because that's a big thing. But please tell the people where they could find you and that lovely Infinite Dreams program.
my website is www.yourinfinitedirection.com. You can find me on Instagram at Your Infinite Direction.
Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your time. Was there something
You're
else you want to
welcome.
share?
No, I just thought about something. I said, yo, you could go to the website. The website will link you to IG and the I'm sorry, the Infinite Dreamers program.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Yes. Please check it out. If y'all don't do nothing else, definitely check it out. It is worth checking out, I promise you.
If you would like a virtual information session, you can reach out to me at jones@yourinfinitedirection.com, because the platform that I have, you can't just go into it and see
Okay.
everything that's in it. But if you reach out to me, I would love to hear from people. I would love to schedule an information session. I can go in and show the audience how or what's the program and how to access it. So
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you so much for that. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. And very excited because this is just your beginning. I told you that that program is going to be everywhere. It needs to be everywhere.
it
So,
is. I'm putting it in. Let me
yes,
speak life
ma'am.
into that.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, definitely. So
process,
thank
but
you.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I know it is. All of it is a process that you gotta trust. But yes, families, please, please, please check out infinitedirections.com, right?
Your Infinite Direction.
Yourinfinitedirections.com. Please, please, please check that out and continue to believe in yourself, continue to test the boundaries, continue to just grow in your household and understand that your life, your home, your way. No comparing and contrasting, no thinking that we got to be here, we got to be there because somebody else is. Like, no, your journey is your journey. Accept it, embrace it, love it, care for it, and enjoy it. Big time, because we are here. We are all a piece of the puzzle. We are all important. We all need to do what we do, and allow yourself to be like Cia said earlier, like just be and feel and breathe in the now, without the troubling thoughts of tomorrow or the yesterday. So just breathe and continue to trust the process, and please, 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 please homeschool your kids.
I like that.